RCTP Level 5, 511A to 511D, Part 1. Okay, this is the 511A to 511B range. We're going to look at slopers and an introduction to them.
Let's have a look at slopers. Okay, so with a sloper, what you want to be thinking about is the plane in which your hand is actually being put in. So what do I mean by a plane? Think of it like a mathematical plane where the slope of this sloper kind of like extends out, and you can keep thinking that it like continuously extends out. If I put my hand here, as soon as my fingers raise above that plane, so if I get a little bit of space underneath this part of the sloper, what will happen is I'll pop off this sloper. And so to help ensure that I don't pop off the sloper, what you'll see a lot of rock climbers do is that we lower ourselves to keep it so that our hands are always on the hold, very flush, and keeps it with a lot of contact. The other part of the reason to do that, if I go back to this plane, as soon as I move my center of mass or most of my body weight above this plane, so if it gets above this point, I'm gonna fall off this sloper. So the way that we avoid doing that is, again, we get very low, and then we will slowly lift to that point where we know that this is as far as I can go because this is the plane, and I won't go past it, and then I'll try to make a move. But if I have to make a move that's even a little higher, I know that as soon as I go for it, I'm gonna pop off this sloper. So I'll go, and I'll try to hit and get that move right away.
Slopers, controlled, and slapping a sloper. Let's watch Renee as she slowly climbs this V2, and there's a lot of slopers on this problem, and what you're going to notice is that she really moves slowly and statically just to get those slopers, and she's doing it in a very controlled manner where you can see she's just very gently placing her hands on top of the hold, and then she's moving up. So this is one way that you can, get to a sloper and you start to practice and get that contact strength up, where you just like gently start to hold those holds and you pull yourself up. Not all the time when you go to a sloper will you be able to do it statically and controlled. Here Brian slaps the sloper. As you see, he tries to read the sloper at the beginning, figures out where he thinks the sweet spot will be. Most of the time you kind of figure this out with where all the chalk marks are, and then you just go up and you slap and you hit it down hard, and then you kind of practice like hitting it, and like wherever your hand kind of ends up, you don't really adjust it, you just kind of go with where that was. Now shimmy up a hold. Okay, we're gonna watch Renee as she goes on this V7. Now this is one of the parts where I was mentioning to you guys that, you just jump on stuff that's a little harder. So before this point, Renee's highest was about a V5, maybe some V6s, but she never did a V7 before. And then we're like, just start doing them. And you know what? She started doing them and getting better. But what I wanna show you here is when she gets up to this large white hold that she's gonna grab next, she starts to slowly shimmy herself up it. And like she kind of regrips it and just slowly works that left hand as she slowly like palms it and just works up. You'll see as she like crawls up and just shimmies a little bit to get into a better position. And that's a great way to keep body tension but still like make your way up the hold. And yeah, that's one of the techniques that you need to start to just get comfortable doing. You need to have an attitude of will not fail, and you sometimes will grunt or you'll exhale or you'll make noises, but you just need to be like, I will make this move. Let's watch Brian on this route. It's actually a 12 route. He's approaching up to the crux, and I'm sorry that I kind of stopped the camera because I just did on this route, but we're going to watch it as when he goes up, he has this attitude of a will not fail. He has a lot of body tension. You can see how it's a pretty intense move for him, but he still just keeps going. He's like, I will not fail. I'll make this move and I'll push myself through it. And he does eventually make this move. And finally, brush holds. Brush holds, guys. If you're having a problem where you're slipping off a lot of holds, just make sure to brush it. Like, look at all that dust that I'm pulling off. So even when I'm on rope routes, if I get to a pretty hard spot, sometimes I notice that the holds are like way too chalked up. So what I'll do is I'll grab out my brush out of my chalk bag and I'll use it to brush holds.